Morning, what's up? What's up?
Morning, Facebook.
Where can you go for financial guidance? Lucia Capital Group invites you to build your wealth education at wealthed.com. Wealthed.com features live
Elijah does the undershirt too, bro.
Featuring Lucia Capital Group advisors
What?
who will help educate you about investment.
Oh, yeah.
Sure,
give
yeah.
guidance based on
Look at
years of
y'all.
experience in the financial services industry.
Comfortable.
And help you build a strategic plan that integrates your investments. Wealthed.com.
Okay, we're now sharing there, so we should be able to.
Wealthed.com. Securities offered through Lucia Securities LLC, member SIPC, and a subsidiary of Lucia Capital Group, a registered investor.
Oh, you guys look so cute.
Thanks. Yeah.
Elijah, you're out of screen.
I am out of screen. I'm
Yeah.
on that screen, but not
Yeah.
the.
Right.
All right.
This is the one that matters. In fact, this is that there's out of shot.
Here, just get on. Come on.
Wow, it feels tighter than it used to. This was out of shot before.
I think we should scoot the camera back, but I know that's for Andy to do.
Yeah.
Andy.
Oh, there we go.
That's a good shot.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
The following program does not necessarily
She didn't say that until I got in the picture. You
Yeah.
noticed that, right?
Y'all stupid. That's fine.
Whatever.
Y'all stupid.
Y'all stupid. Y'all so stupid.
Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Your phone's still on.
Yeah. Mine?
Actually, that's mine. Sorry.
Mine is still on, but.
Mine's on vibrate.
Morning, Michael.
Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now.
Morning,
Taking
Michael.
calls at
Morning, Valley.
713-785-1817.
All right, fellas. Hot mics. 3, 2, 1.
Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hey, welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Joined live in the studio. My brother Jeff. My brother from another mother, Elijah.
Hey.
Y'all are with Fast Track Remodeling. That's fasttrackremodeling.com, 832-742-9992.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what's new in the world? Y'all are up to your eyeballs in Harvey?
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like that we're catching sort
It's
of
a new normal.
a good starting to get clicked in a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, right at the beginning, it just takes you off balance completely, and then
Right.
you just have to decide what is it that we're going to get a part of. 'Cause there's so many opportunities, honestly, out there,
Right.
and not everybody can handle all of them, really. So,
Yeah, no one company can handle it all.
right. So we
Right.
just decided what we were going to
Be
work
good at.
on and stay good at.
So what is that? What have y'all decided to work on and stay good at?
Pretty much staying with what we had been doing before, with one caveat, that we did open up a little bit of a flood help team.
Yeah.
And so that was in the initial. It helped
With
us to get-
dehumidifiers and things like that.
Yeah, and it helped us to get in the demo crew and
Yeah.
then patterning out sort of the sheetrock and texture guys, which we had worked with before, but weren't necessarily part of our mainstay crews.
Right.
We worked with that for a little bit, and it helped us get mostly caught up with what was going on right at the beginning. There's that 2 waves we talked about before.
Right.
First wave was people we had already worked on.
Right.
Houses with that got flooded, and then the second wave is now investors buying flood houses. So,
Yeah. So what do you see going on? Are investors? Because I can talk about what we're seeing, but I want to see what y'all are seeing. What do you see going on with investors and what's happening out there?
outside of the myriad of questions that investors are having
Right.
About what the market's going to do in some areas and what it's not going to do, I think that we get mainly just people who are able to close quickly at this point, because the other ones aren't necessarily closed yet. A
Right.
lot of those houses, people are waiting for money before they close and
Right.
other stuff, and insurance is backed up. I've heard
Yeah.
a lot. So the ones that we're getting are ones typically that didn't have insurance.
Got it.
They just wanted to move on. Maybe they've received one FEMA check for just helping them with their housing in the interim, but they
Right.
they didn't have flood insurance.
Right.
So those are closing already. Maybe some others might close, people who trust the insurance company enough to pay them whether they own the house still or not.
Right.
Because it was their original claim, right?
We've got one coming that we're buying that they actually added an addendum to the contract that said that they get the insurance money, which they have the right to anyway.
Yeah,
because
right.
We didn't own the property during the time of the claim, but they just put extra language in there. And what we're seeing is people are buying most of the investors are that are getting active right now with flooded houses are buy and hold investors, not
Right.
necessarily flip investors.
Right.
Are y'all seeing that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. That at least is their number one strategy. And
Right.
then if they, while they're doing the rehab, are
They-
starting to see that the neighborhood is
Right.
kicking back, then
Yeah.
It's
they,
the safer approach, I think,
Correct.
that most people are, or
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
conservative for sure.
They're buying based on the buy and hold
Right.
play, as
Mhm.
not a buy, fix, and flip.
Yep.
Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. 713-785-1817 is our call-in number, or you can join us on the Book of Faces. And you can type in a question in the chat area. I'm monitoring that. Aaron's asking a question. If you're buying a house that's normally a flip, but it recently flooded for the first time, are you trying to buy it at a price where you can cash flow it as a rental for a couple of years until the market recovers?
I think that's
Does this affect the type of rehab you put in, for example, rental versus flip grade materials? So I think it depends a lot on the neighborhood.
Right.
Like we were talking about before the show, there's a particular neighborhood that Jason and I like a lot. And it's a relatively high-end neighborhood. I mean, there are $800,000 houses in Memorial that I think you can pick up at nearly 50 cents on the dollar all in. And so if you can buy a house for $400,000, I would argue that my personal opinion, I wouldn't want to rent that house out. I'd want to board it up and just warehouse it, if you will, for the next 2 years or so. Just keep it from further damage, happening. And then once the rush of all the rehab and stuff like that settles down, start trickling those out, maybe a couple a year, next year, the next, and then really sell out in 3 years. But I also see that if you're talking about not $800,000 houses, but maybe $400,000 houses that you thought you could flip and it flooded, I think that those neighborhoods, the lower the price gets to the median home price, I think the faster it is going to rebound because there's more buyers in that price range.
Mm-hmm.
And so if from a cash flow standpoint, if you have the longer term financing that if you're not in hard money, because that's really the issue is that what kind of lending do you have? Can you afford to, pay either hard money rates, or is your private money lender comfortable with you changing strategies? That's going to affect a lot of it because not everybody has that flexibility with their lender.
And I think in a $400,000 house, you can't really do a rental grade. Like, it's going to have to be what the neighborhood is for 3 years from now.
I
to
agree.
be able to
Yeah, so if
sell
you,
it.
I think that's it. If investors are looking to make what would normally not be a rental house into a rental house, then likely, especially since they're having to replace the things anyway, you bring it up to the neighborhood if you're looking to sell it.
But you can, if you're in, I think that some of the thing is going to be, in those 3 years, can you cash flow or break even and capture, equity along those 3 years to be able to weather? And nobody really knows what that's going
You
to
weren't
be.
going to say to weather a storm, right?
Maybe I was. and then I was
Sometimes
like,
the reason why
something-
we suggest doing less is when you can keep things.
Yeah, right.
But with the flood, a lot of that stuff cannot be kept. So,
Yeah.
Cabinets, countertops. If you go low end, then you have to remodel again.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that they may do, though, if it's a higher end neighborhood that you normally put a frameless shower door, maybe don't put the door in yet.
Right.
Just let them use a shower curtain until you sell it. Sometimes things like that could save you just a little bit, but but it in the end it is what it is. It's the neighborhood requires.
Well, and if it flooded one time, I still think that there's going to be a market at some price. I think what we don't know is what's that price going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do think it's going to come back in 3 years or so, but I don't. It could come back sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of the people, there's obviously been an influx of people because there's a ton of folks even from out of state still, and I assume that they're living someplace. And the question is, are they going to stay or are they going to go back?
Well, I think what people are going to look at, this is speculation, which everybody is doing, but is in the areas that only flooded once because of the dams or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like those are going to be a little bit more comfortable for people
Sure.
that it was a
If it's in a 500-year floodplain and it was never, but it was along Buffalo Bayou, then I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
But an area that's flooded 3 years in a row, I think people are going to.
Yeah, like a Meyerland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meyerland's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Meyerland. 20 years from now, what does Meyerland look like?
I think it's just, personally, I see it as just being something that it's going to be difficult to have an average because it really is going to come down to who's comfortable paying the kind of money to live there.
Yeah.
It is convenient.
It is very
But it's going to
convenient.
be just a personal, I think each house is going to be a very difficult appraisal for.
Yeah, because it's
people.
close to the medical center. It's close to, they've got good schools there.
So it's what are you willing to pay
right.
to be able to live,
Yeah.
there versus like what the market's been doing. But
Yeah.
So supply and demand may drive that a lot. Yeah,
It always does.
Mm-hmm. So
that's interesting. how
Yeah,
that works.
right. So with us and people that are new to the show may not know, but when we're talking about these things, we're talking about investment homes.
Absolutely.
And Fast Track works only for investors unless
Yeah.
it's a roof or HVAC related item. But what I've also seen is people when they're going in and deciding to remodel, there's a couple things of the order that if they're going to try it themselves, that they may want to consider. First side is make sure that if the people who had remediated it before,
Right.
if they didn't spray some sort
Germicide.
of
Yeah.
mold blocker,
Right.
something like that, that's a good idea. And then also, if there's things they tried to keep, and they like cabinets or
Yeah.
something, and then they're 2 months closing, if they're going in there, it'd be a good idea to poke back in
Yeah.
under the cabinet where the kick
Right.
plate is, probably in the back wall, see
Right.
what's going on back there, because sometimes there's issues.
Yeah, you'd rather know before you buy.
Right.
Right.
Also, some of these houses, I mean, they've gotten 3-4 feet worth of water. I was walking a house yesterday up off of Cypress Wood, and literally the back door's got 4 feet worth of water in the window.
Right.
Because it's in the glass
Right.
between the window,
Mm.
and it fireplaces are something people aren't thinking of. That
Right.
it basically ruins the on some of those fireplaces. It can
Yeah.
ruin because it had insulation inside the metal
Oh, yeah.
box and all
Right.
that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
I forgot about
And yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of a. I mean,
Well, that's true. I mean, the firebox needing to be replaced that could be.
$3,000.
It can be, yeah. Well, because
That's just the firebox. Though.
Yeah.
That's not the brick around the firebox.
Well,
and all
depending
that.
on. I mean, most of the time
that would
it's-
be pretty much
Yeah.
the whole
Okay.
thing, fixing up and down. Mhm.
All right. Well, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Our phone number is 713-785-1817. I'm joined live in the studio with the guys from Fast Track Remodeling. It's fasttrackremodeling.com. Their phone number is 832-742-9992. That's 832-742-9992. So what's the best process? Let's say I've got a property under contract. I want to call you guys out. What do y'all do next?
Yeah, and it's important that it's under contract,
Yep.
especially now with our time schedule. We only
Right.
want to be able to go out. That's a standard. So they call in to the office number you said, or they go to the website and they can fill out an online questionnaire. It's going to take them to either myself or Mike, the other estimator, and we'll put them on the schedule to go out and look at it. Once we look at it, we're almost 100% of the time able to do a bid right there on site for them. And then they'll get all the numbers. They'll looking at what was talked about. They can make a decision if they want to do all those things or if they want to take a few of those things out. At that point, then we can coordinate with the project management team through the office and then move forward on getting.
So how far are y'all backed up in terms of if I close on a house on Monday? Can y'all start on
Interestingly,
Tuesday?
there's a little bit of stasis that's happening. So some people who don't want to wait longer have sold the houses as is, or found other ways to move forward.
1 minute.
So in this case, I think we're still hovering 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the project.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to put our finger on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And some of it is first come, first serve. So, and along the way, some people are putting their money in to be on the line, and then other people are waiting on insurance money or waiting to close, or so there's just different things that if they come in, they may get put into priority because they're.
But basically, right now, you're saying about 2 weeks.
Yeah, minimum.
Minimum 2 weeks, could be 4.
We used to be 5-10 days.
Right.
That was the most.
Sure, right.
And so it is a little different realm for us right now. But yeah, that's minimum.
But the sky's
I
not
can't
falling.
see where anybody's going to be less than.
No, I don't either. Right. Yeah. Because not somebody you would necessarily trust. Yeah. Right. So.
Right.
All right, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. So again, if you want to have a general contractor that you can know, like, and trust, fasttrackremodeling.com, 832-742-9992. Fasttrackremodeling.com, 832-742-9992. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Mike's off.
All right.
See you, Nikki.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003.
Good morning.
Noble Mortgage offers
Hi,
up to
how are
100%
you?
I'm good. How are
financing
you?
to investors that
Fabulous.
covers purchase,
Fabulous.
repairs, and
Your
closing
levels sound good,
costs.
FYI.
In addition to private
All right,
money,
she's good?
Noble Mortgage
All right.
offers
Good.
conventional
Excellent.
loans,
All right.
FHA, and even
So what were you gonna say about
no-income
Donnie?
documentation loans.
I was
for
just saying
both
that I work for
residential
him.
Oh, yeah.
and commercial properties.
You work for
Call and
everybody.
ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications.
It feels like it, huh?
It does sometimes. I mean, there's a couple that we don't do appraisals for, but it's just a
Because
matter
you
of
fired
time.
because you fired him as a client, or
Yeah,
they
that
have-
too.
You're right.
That's
Yeah.
happened too.
You know, I've met people that haven't owned their own business, and they say, you know, oh, business is good business, and the customer is
Yeah.
always right, and all that. And I'm like,
No.
I figured out that there's the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule, that 20% of your clients will take up 80% of your time, and if you'll fire that 20%.
Right. Then you have better quality and more
but
time.
even better than firing them is it when you refer them to your competition, like a specific competitor. You know what? You'd be a really great client for XYZ, right?
Yeah, we started.
Because then you realize that not only do you gain back that 80% of your time that they were taking, but now your competitor's going to be tied up with that person.
Yeah, no, it's a win-win,
Yeah, right.
absolutely. But yeah, we just started Next Gen this year, and before no client's a bad client, and it's like that is not true. That is not true, and it's a lot easier to deal with that,
right?
When it's just you,
Right.
solopreneur,
Right.
but when you have like more moving parts
Yeah, of
and you're
course.
trying to multitask everything and
Right.
coordinate, and then this one client just keeps calling and wants to argue about something or other. And
Yeah, it's like I don't have time for this.
I know, it's not worth
hey,
the money.
you know what? Maybe you would be happier with, and give them that name.
Yeah, I actually
Just did that.
had a bad experience with someone where I basically told them, I was like, this is the process we utilize. This is how we can do this effectively, and
Yeah.
for the cost that we do
Right.
it, we're going to do this last one for you for free, and you're going to have to find someone else that's a better fit. Like, I didn't even go through recommending them to someone else. I was just so...
That's an advanced level ninja trick. You gotta target your specific client.
I didn't want to wish this person on anybody.
You gotta have a competitor that you're like, this person just.
We don't have competition.
Everybody does.
We're just here by ourselves at the top of the mountain.
No one gets to the top of the mountain by themselves.
No, of course not. But yeah,
you didn't get the memo, blue golf shirt.
I know y'all were all wearing blue. I was like,
Totally coincidence.
Yeah.
Nikki's responsible for those memos, so just blame her.
Jeez, Nikki, come on now.
I know,
Right.
slipping.
God, help me out.
Slipping into the future.
What do we want to talk about today? Still flood stuff, or do we want to try?
We're
What?
going.
Yeah.
She's got to do her countdown. We're live.
Hot mic.
Welcome back, Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. I'm joined now live in the studio with Michelle Imler. She is Next Gen Appraisals. That's nextgenappraisals.com, 713-346-9911. Daniel asked a question. When doing appraisals, is there ever a time when you use a mix of sold, as-is, and rehabbed comps to determine ARV?
Yes, but it's preferable to avoid that. The ideal comp is the one that's just like yours, right next door, sold recently.
Sold yesterday.
Right,
And
yeah.
and you're closing a month from now, right?
Right. So that's the ideal comp. If there's a limited availability, there's certainly a way to use an as-is comp and then try and calculate the rehab and to determine an ARV that way. I personally don't really agree with that method just because everybody has a different level of risk that they're willing to take when
Sure.
buying an as-is property.
Right.
It's different for investors, and when you're dealing with single-family homes, it's different for a traditional retail buyer as well. They
Right.
may be willing to say, well, I don't need to make a profit necessarily. I just want to live in this neighborhood. So,
Right.
your profit margin may be 20%, and for them it may be 0. So,
Right. So there's two things that I want to cover today that have been coming up in class that we teach, and I want to make sure that I'm aligning with what you feel is correct, because there's a difference between when an investor is analyzing on the front end of the property, because you're part psychologist, you're part economist,
Right.
and you have to take comps into consideration, but comps are very much historical. Especially in a rising market, comps are going to trail the rising market, and it happens. It doesn't happen fast that it trails, but it seems like when prices fall, that catches up pretty quickly, because it only takes one data point there. But there's also people sometimes, and I think it's because other gurus are out there teaching stuff, and because they're not actually doing real estate, they're just regurgitating what they're hearing other gurus say.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of those things, for example, is, only use comps that are like 90 days old. And the thought process is, if you're flipping a house, you buy the house, you rehab it in 30 days, you can put it on the market, and then perhaps one of the actual properties that you used as a comp could be used as a comp when you're selling the house, because typically the standard is go back 6 months, right?
That's the preferred range,
right? But then I threw it out there this past weekend, and I'm like, I sometimes will go back 5 years, and you'd have thought I just had shot the Pope, and it's like, hey, I don't lose anything by going back further. It's like, why would you? It's like I'm trying to look at statistics and trying to see, are there trends in the marketplace? I'm looking at data points.
Right. So let's say you have those comps and there's nothing available in 90 days. Instead of going further back, you're going to go further out and leave your market.
I'd rather go further back.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd rather find when did the house next door sell and how much did it sell for? Right. I'd rather find that house that looks just like mine, especially if you're talking about like a busy street, for example, because you know what an appraisal won't show necessarily is, what if you're on the corner of a busy street, you're still in the neighborhood, you're in the schools. Y'all don't look at that necessarily and say, we're going to do a negative market, because that rarely ever happens in 6 months.
No, I agree. And I also think a big part of it is that when you pull a large amount of data, you need to look at every single comp and look at the pictures so that you can determine independently what's happening in this market. What are people that are buying into this market looking for when they buy houses? So if you're flipping, you're trying to be reflective of the top end of those comps.
Correct.
And if you're not looking at what the middle range is and making sure you're exceeding that, so if you're only looking at the top range and we just have to make it look at least like this one, and then we're going to get the value, you're missing the bigger picture of what's happening with everything else going on with this market as a whole.
Well, you could be missing that, that the one that sold at the top of the market was on a cul-de-sac and your house is not on a cul-de-sac, or you could be missing that there's high tension power lines nearby, or there's Cujo living next door to the house that you're selling, and although that's not going to be reflected in the comp, when you're showing the house, you may walk the house and Cujo's put up inside the house and you don't hear him. But you go to show the house to that ideal family and Cujo's out back, tearing down the fence, and you're like, that dog's going to bark all night, keep me up. And there's all these factors that go. It's so much psychology that goes into the buyer's mindset.
Correct.
And comps don't show that.
No, comps are strictly statistical data, and you never know what someone's going to do with just statistical data. Like for me, when we bought our house, I really wanted a place to put my Christmas dishes. You think the MLS is going to list that for me? Like, this is
that was
the
your
best.
Number one buying
that
point?
was like a really important thing for me. I was like,
how many Christmas dishes do you have?
I have a slight addiction, so we're not going to talk about that right now.
Are you going to a counseling session for that?
Probably should. And I've gotten rid of a lot too, which is even worse. But yeah, I have
these inherited, or you actually?
They
bought
are. They're inherited.
Okay, Grandma's Christmas dishes.
They really are.
All right.
So it's important.
We get to the real meat of the matter.
I know. So when I'm appraising houses, I'm like, oh, put just Christmas dishes there. No, but that was what was important to me as an individual. But that obviously is not representative of the whole market.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to be represented in the MLS. You can. So that's why looking at pictures and driving by comps is so important, because you have to get a feel for the property.
Right.
And you're not going to do that by reading.
Yeah. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Our phone number is 713-785-1817. Andy says there's a spare blue shirt behind the screen. Nice. Yeah, we'll skip that till next time. All right. So what else would you say that you see new investors, the mistakes that they're making when they're trying to do their evaluations?
I think think a lot of it is because you're new, you're taking other, experts' advice.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you need to make sure, you're the one putting your money on the line.
Yeah.
You're taking the risk.
How much risk
not
tolerance?
this expert.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And I think that there's value in education, there's value in mentorship. That's definitely a great asset to have. But they're not the ones signing the check. You are.
Correct.
And so you need to make sure if something feels off, if something feels wrong, that's happened several times. I've had this conversation with a few private money lenders these last couple of weeks. If it feels off, then just do your due diligence, because you don't want in the back of your mind through this whole 6-month, 12-month process of, is this going to fall through when, we go through with the exit strategy.
Right.
So that's a way I would look at it. And the other was, like we were talking about, making sure you're looking at the big picture in the market as a whole. You need to understand not just this individual property and, okay, I got 3 comps, so I know it's going to make value. That's not what appraisers do. We're looking at school districts. We're looking at jobs. We're looking at the location to, restaurants, everything as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think another thing, not just new investors, but every investors need to try and learn how to do is how to have that conversation where if a value comes back that you disagree with, what do you do?
Yeah. Nuh-uh is not good enough.
That's not fair, and,
Right. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. I'm joined live in the studio with Michelle Imler. She's with NextGenAppraisals.com. That's NEXTGEN as in November, APPRAISALS.com. So NextGenAppraisals.com. 713-346-9911 is your phone number. So how far in advance do people need to call you in order to get you out? How far are you booked up?
We have a 5 business day turnaround time for full appraisals.
Okay.
And a 2 business day turnaround time for desktops.
Okay.
We try really hard to commit to that. Sometimes it's not always possible due to availability and things like that, as far as, it's tenant occupied and they won't let us in until a certain day, things like that. But that's the time frame we try and commit to.
Okay. And then how much does it cost to get a desktop appraisal? Like if I'm struggling to get a comp to figure out, hey, what's the best price on brand new? What's your fee for a desktop appraisal?
$150. Was there an awkward silence after that? It's $150.
I think that's a fantastic deal.
Should it be more?
Here's what I know is that if you can get an expert's opinion for only $150 and get that within 2 days,
right.
I mean, what peace of mind? I mean, that's...
Yeah, so let's reverse that, because obviously you're not an appraiser, but you do evaluations all the time for your deals. So how much would... If someone called you and was like, how much is this house worth? And then you're not doing a favor. Someone just asking to pay you. How much would you charge?
It would be more than $150.
Okay.
Fair enough. Although, here's what I would look at is I could probably get away with doing it for $150 because I would realize what's the hourly rate I have to pay somebody and how much time, and I'd want to build it and scale it. Well, I'd want to scale it, right? I mean,
sure.
That's what Jason and I do. We build and scale, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. So I think $150 is a good price, and I think you could scale around that. So, Nikki, what'd you say?
1 minute.
Okay, Michael McFarland saying, I had a realtor once that was trying to push my numbers higher so I could buy properties. Yeah, I mean...
Yes, that happens,
they do that a lot, yeah. And I don't think that's a great idea. So, that's...
And if you do disagree with the value, bring facts to the table. Don't just bring opinions of, well, this isn't a really good school district. Okay, well, all of my comps were in the same school district.
Yeah.
But they weren't the ones that I chose. Okay, well, why did you choose yours? Mine are recent sales and close to the subject. Well, mine sold 6 months ago and... have a pool or whatever the case may be, you got to bring logical facts to the table. When
you're also looking into, was it owner finance? What were the seller's contribution, buyer's closing costs, all those, and sometimes they're not factoring those kind of things in when they're seeing the comp, because if they're not a realtor or have access to the real realtor data, they're not seeing that.
Right.
All right, so we're less than a minute. So nextgenappraisals.com, that's nextgenappraisals.com, 713-346-9911. 713-346-9911. If you're unsure about evaluating, give Michelle a call. She'll take great care of you for only $150 for desktop. And you'll be there tonight?
Yes, we'll be there tonight.
All right. If you want to talk to her in person, she'll be there tonight. All right. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Mic's off.
All right.
She'll take care of you.
Oh,
You found her on Harriet.
desktop appraisal.
How much it's worth.
Wow, you're really blushing.
What to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out.
All right, let's do Jerry Taz. Mic check.
All right.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hey Nikki, how are you doing?
Hi, good. Just a tad bit higher.
A little higher.
Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer.
How about that?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
We're good. We're good.
All right, cool.
Partners an amazing experience
Sweet.
during the loan process. My team believes
You been busy?
in people and
Very.
culture before
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of new investors.
Yeah, great.
Just calling and
Yeah.
asking what I think and
Yeah.
my crystal ball's in the shop,
Right.
as you would say.
Yeah, parts are back ordered.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm Jennifer
Yeah.
Hernandez, the Hernandez
So
that's
team
funny.
at Legacy Mutual
I mean,
Mortgage.
I keep in, I always tell people the same thing is, people forget floods quickly in
What
Houston.
flood?
Yeah,
What flood?
It flooded. Okay, that's cool.
There's a shooting in Vegas. What flood?
Yeah.
Right. Squirrel.
I mean, the one neighborhood that I see, we're starting to see a lot of wholesale deals from is the one that got flooded by the reservoir.
Yeah.
And I really
In Cyprus.
well, right over by Bear Creek.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't know what your thoughts were on that, but I heard no one's really trying to fix anything.
Oh,
in
is that
there.
right? Mm.
Like it's kind of in limbo where
Oh.
people are like, I'm not going to spend
Yeah.
all this money to try to fix it. So there's like almost no construction going on
Yeah.
over there.
Right.
And I see wholesale deals on them, but I don't know. Is anyone buying?
Bear Creek's one of those areas that has flooded time and time and time again, right? I mean,
Right.
in fact, all of the Bear Creek golf course is really designed to flood, right?
Yeah.
In
They're meant to hold water.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I've known lifestyles investors over the years that have bought a ton of houses in Bear Creek because it's good schools. It's all of that. I don't see that that's going to change.
Yeah.
So as long as, I don't think anybody's going to come in and tear that neighborhood down. So it's a matter of time.
Right.
And then I've been wondering, are there things that you could do? You can't, not building up the house, but what are some things that you could do to protect? There's a house that I've shown some people this house, and they built a berm all the way around the house to protect it, and it worked. It's about 3.5 feet tall. The only downside is can't access anything inside the berm. Like car can't go into the garage because it goes across the driveway, of course, right?
Right.
And you've got to put some kind of vegetation on it or something like that.
Are
And
you looking for an investor?
I don't know if the city would, let you do that in certain areas, but I could picture you could do with landscaping and things like that. And I don't know how they stop you. You're not really affecting your neighbors. It's not like raising your house up with a lot of dirt. That would affect your neighbors. I don't think you'd have an environmental or an impact on your neighbors, but you're keeping the water out.
No more doing the
That's
work.
true. It's like a reverse moat.
Fast Track Remodeling
So
really does
at that point in
manage
time, and then the other thing we've talked about are there some building things that you could do, like IKEA cabinets that are up off the floor, or, that kind of stuff, or
Right.
and concrete, polished concrete or just tile floors, and then do hardy on all the walls except for the exterior walls because you're going to have insulation there,
Right.
and then basically leave a 1-inch gap, cover it with a baseboard, so all you lose is just where you're minimizing if water ever got in, you're reducing. It's not 4 foot, it's maybe a foot or something like that. It's that kind of stuff. And then what would you could you cut your turnover cost down to like $6,000, $5,000, something like that?
Right, when it happens. I mean, it makes sense like for kitchen cabinets, instead of having the base all go to the floor,
Right.
I mean, you'll just have put it on some legs, just
Right.
like, Galveston houses with stilts.
Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio? Oh,
Hi,
all right.
Hot mic.
Yeah, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. I'm joined live in the studio. We did a quick change during the break. Jerry Ta with Property Care. That's propertycarehouston.com. Propertycarehouston.com. His phone number is 713-489-7653. 713-489-7653. For those of y'all that listen on terrestrial radio, that's great. But we also, if you want to follow us on the Book of Faces, you can watch us live. We broadcast both the audio and the video. And what's happening is that during the break, commercials are playing and all that, but we're also the guests and I are talking, or we're having fun with Nikki, all that kind of stuff. That probably came out wrong. Nikki's in the studio. She's our producer. We have a lot of fun with her, just joking around, that kind of stuff. So what do you see going on in the world of property management in Houston, Texas as a result of Harvey?
Since Harvey, we've had a lot of investors, a lot of interest in Houston, just wanting to see what kind of discounts, are we supposed to be getting. Just a lot.
And what are you telling them? What kind of discounts?
The answer is that I don't know.
You say, let me look into my crystal ball. Oh, dang it, that went to the shop.
Right.
Yeah.
And, some neighborhoods where, I looked at one yesterday where a house got an inch of flood, and there was actually a house that closed right after Harvey, and it went down, maybe 10,000.
Yeah. On what price range house?
It was a $140,000 house.
So that's not about 8%,
Yeah.
9%, something like that, 7 or 8%.
And it didn't sway. I mean, it certainly didn't sway that buyer that,
yeah,
a house right next to it flooded or anything. So, it really depends from neighborhood to neighborhood. I get a lot of investors that are sending me houses right next to Cypress Creek and asking me for my thoughts. And, I think the answer, I'd probably stay away.
Yeah. You personally?
Yeah.
So because I know you're an active investor, right? Mm-hmm. You've got rental properties yourself and all of that. So are you looking to expand your portfolio? Do you see this as a buying opportunity, or are you staying pat? You manage enough for other people that you don't really want to do that? What are you doing personally?
I think it's probably a pretty good buying opportunity.
Yeah.
Anytime when you're going into a market on trending downwards, that's generally the good time to buy. When things are trending upwards, that's when you kind of stay on the sidelines. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in buying. I haven't seen anything myself that I would want to get.
Oh, man, I can't.
Yeah, I got to get it. Yeah. So I haven't seen that. But I think
it's coming.
But I think in due time, once the market, when there's not an active market, prices decrease until it becomes active.
Correct.
So hopefully,
you took an economics class sometime in your life, didn't you?
I'm an accountant. I did a lot of energy trading auditing.
Yeah.
In my prior life.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of terms from finance guys, traders,
right,
risk guys,
right,
and stuff. So. Yeah.
What's interesting to me is that people always say they want to buy low and they want to sell high.
Mm-hmm.
But it's normally some kind of negative event that creates that buy low situation.
Right.
And it's that negative event that creates the fear that keeps most people from buying low.
Right.
And so you always have this dichotomy where you say, okay, I'm supposed to buy low. It's low right now, but I don't really want to buy because I'm afraid. And it's like, then everything starts heating it up and you see people making money. Oh, I should have gotten in. And then it gets really high and like, I'm going to buy. I mean, I see that going on. I've been seeing that for the last 2 or 3 years with multifamily. There's so much crazy, stupid money getting into multifamily.
Right.
And you're like, and I go, wait, I know that multifamily has a piece of real estate attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But so does a machine shop. And when you think about buying a machine shop, you don't think about the real estate, you're buying the business, right? And
right.
I would argue that the same thing is happening when you're buying a multifamily apartment complex. You're buying a business.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it has real estate attached, that's just gives you some tax advantages, right?
Right.
But the reality is it's the business that you're buying. And just like you would want to buy a machine shop when it's out of favor, when it's low, yeah, but it doesn't have much business, not a good business to buy. Well, that's why you're buying it low, right? I mean, you've got to do something to make it better. And right now, multifamily has been just scorching hot. I mean, it's, the 3 things that affects the pricing is the cap rates when they're low, prices are high, rental rates when they're high, prices are high, and occupancy rates when they're high, prices are high. And all 3 of those are at record levels. And so you can't buy one low. Oh, but Tom, I got a great deal on a 13.5 unit. I mean, right? It's like, no, that's, oh my gosh. Yeah.
The one thing you learn about business is that, and there's this person that always uses the term was that the pendulum swings.
Absolutely.
And it's never right in the middle.
And it always swings too far in one direction, right?
Yeah. And you see that in multifamily, like, once vacancy rates hit a certain number, everyone starts like time to build. And by the time they get all their ducks in a row, their financing set up, and then by the time they're done with the construction, the market already went the other way.
Right.
And so the pendulum always swings. So you just kind of got to be focused on that.
Yeah, and you have to recognize that it's nothing stays hot forever,
Right.
and nothing stays cold forever, right? And it's gonna seek equilibrium, and it always overcorrects. And so right now, I see this is a tremendous opportunity. I mean, I've seen, I saw the crash after the RTC, stepped in after the savings and loans, got wiped out and all that in the late '80s, and then the one in 2008, and then.
And my thoughts on 2008 was a little different because, after 2008, there was all this talk about lending guidelines and how it was going to be. And I personally thought, and I was really wrong about 2008, was that I thought lending would be so difficult to the point where really only qualified buyers.
Right.
It would be so strict, but obviously once the market's not as good as they want it to be.
Correct.
They've
got to loosen up.
Yeah, they got to loosen up. And then once things got loosened up, it just kind of
keeps going.
It keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after 2008, I was like, man, the housing market is gonna kind of suck, but it sucked for a little bit.
And then for about 2 years.
Yeah. And then once things loosened up and just took off, and that's a government intervention, which unfortunately drives a lot of things.
Right.
So. Yeah.
That's what drove me out of the insurance business.
Yeah.
Government intervention, trying to make things better. Yeah, and they never do. So I'm joined live in the studio with Jerry Ta. He's with PropertyCareHouston.com. PropertyCareHouston.com. Phone number 713-489-7653. 713-489-7653. So Jimmy's asking the question, are you seeing rent actually rising still?
The answer was that we didn't, maybe for a lack of a better term, price gouge or anything, but any and all available units that's worth anything that anybody wanted, I say we've leased about 15, 20 properties within the past month after Harvey. So we moved a lot of our available units.
And did you raise the rental rate slightly?
We did some 6 months, 9 month leases, as long as the owners were okay.
Yeah.
And then we built in an automatic
like a
premium for month to month after the fact. But we kept rates the same.
Okay. Because we know quite a few single family investors. I mean, like one I think of a husband and wife team that they've bought 7 houses since they've joined, our class basically, and I think that they've been able to upgrade some of their tenants that were coming up for renewal. They didn't renew that particular tenant, and they were able to upgrade that. And then the other thing they've been able to do is raise some of their rates, like $50 a month. So they're not unlike a $1,300 one. $1,300 went to $1,350.
Right.
But they said the caliber of people that they're able to screen for now has shot way up.
That is very true.
In fact, there's been a lot of people that have not rented in a forever because they've been homeowners, right?
Right.
So they are homeowners and they need a place to live, and so they've rented. And that makes a great tenant.
And being in the business, I would always say like August and September sometimes is kind of the worst 2 months to rent out houses, other than obviously during the winter periods, because it's like people who like, oh crap, I totally forgot that I needed to rent a new house. So like, let me get my life in order because now my kids already started school, and it's usually generally a lower quality tenant than the people that move in May, June, July.
They're not forward thinking, highly intelligent people,
right? Yeah. So this time around, though, there's an abundance of quality tenants that were just displaced. From Harvey.
Yeah. All right. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, and I'm joined live in the studio with Jerry Ta. He's with Property Care. That's PropertyCareHouston.com, 713-489-7653. So what's your process? If I'm an investor, let's say I've got 8 houses, I've been managing myself. I ran into this. We had our 3-day class this past weekend, and I had a guy, I'm sick and tired of managing my own properties. Who do you recommend? And of course, I gave your name. And he goes, I think it's just time. I'm ready. I'm ready to start letting go of that. And so, what's the process? They give you a call. They go to your website. What's the best way for an investor to do that?
I would say send me an email or give me a call.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of talk it over email. I'll send over a management agreement for you to look at, see if everything's good, and then we just kind of move forward from there. And you could have one property.
Yeah.
Everyone has to start somewhere. And the way I look at it is that I've had so many owners that started with one, they buy one, they send it over to us, and then they look for their next one rather than spending time
dealing with tenant issues,
or trying to find their own tenants.
Right.
I know there's some education class out there that, hey, you can easily lease out your house yourself. I mean, of course, if you want to kill your evenings and weekends to try to find that tenant, I don't think that's what you got in it for. And I'm sure if you're able to buy investment properties, then you got a job that requires a good amount of your
Just
time.
because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
Right.
I mean, I can go to Home Depot and pick up materials and take them to job sites,
Mhm.
but it doesn't mean I should be doing that.
Right.
In fact, that's one of the stories I tell a lot. That I had a former business partner that the first day that I drove with him to see. Rode with him to see what a typical day was like in his life. We went to 3 different Home Depots and 2 Lowe's and a McCoy's building center to pick up materials. I'm like, what's your time worth?
Right.
I mean, I'm like,
there's 8 hours in a day.
Yeah, and he
true work time.
said, we worked it out. His time's worth about $40 an hour. And I said, would you hire somebody for $40 an hour to do that? And he goes, well, no. I'm like, well, why? Shouldn't you be doing more valuable things with your time than that?
Because when people just focus on just a pure cash flow money out and not opportunity cost,
right?
And they lose.
That's what keeps you broke.
Yeah,
it's really what
they don't
keeps
think
you
about opportunity costs.
And I'm not saying that it keeps you broke, but it keeps you from your full potential.
Mhm.
In order to get to your full potential economically, you've got to do the highest value task that's available to you in that time.
Right.
So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Jerry Ta's phone number is propertycarehouston.com. Actually, that's his web address. His phone number is 713-489-7653, 713-489-7653. Thanks for listening. Hey,
All right.
Brittany, thanks for joining.
Mike's off.
All right, thanks, Jerry.
Are you a realtor or seller that is concerned about the new TRID rules and closing on time? I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer at Legacy Mutual Mortgage, and we have mastered the 30-day close. We close on time, accurately, and with tons of communication. You'll have a dedicated team of a coordinator and a contract-to-close associate. Give me a call today at 713-579-3611, and let's talk about how we can help you on your next transaction. NMLS 514497.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts. Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas, 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Are small returns getting in the way of your retirement plans? Why settle for mediocre results? There's a better place to invest. The experts agree. Single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how JB Fund Services offers a 9% preferred return and up to a 13% waterfall. Call us today at 281-915-0906 or visit our website, jbfundservices.com. That's 281-915-0906. This investment is offered to accredited investors.
Rehab loans, conventional loans, FHA, and no-income documentation loans can seem scary unless you have the right mortgage company to guide you through the process. Since 2003, Noble Mortgage has been helping
How much
investors
time?
just like you. Whether rehabbing houses, buying your
more than
first
a minute.
home,
Okay,
rental,
cool.
or commercial property,
Sweet.
Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing. Call Noble Mortgage at 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com.
Selecting a foundation company and their product for repair is a lot like a game of chance. You simply don't know what you're going to get. The foundation repair industry as a whole doesn't carry a license, nor is it regulated. However, Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files to give you the best foundation analysis in today's market. Remember to check.
So, Brittany, I don't know if you know, our next event has actually been moved. We were going to have it in Dallas, but it's going to be in Houston now. And that's and then we're doing also a free event tonight at 9999 Westheimer at the West Chase Hilton.
IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities, and the ability to tap into trillions of dollars for your real estate investing deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening. For more information,
you know what? If are you required by FCC to do the countdown and all that, or can we just assume that when the intro stops, that
whichever.
Yeah.
We can do whatever you want to do.
1817 and look for us
So
on
when he
Facebook
stops
Live
talking,
and
hit hot mic.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything.
Real estate.
Hey, welcome back, Right Path Real Estate Radio. Did we do it right, Nikki?
Yes. You did good.
Nice. All right. So, trying to get this whole radio thing figured out, right? So we've only been doing a little more than a year, and so what I want to talk about now is we've got a great event tonight. It's going to be, I know for those of y'all that are getting in the habit of coming to our offices at 11451 Katy Freeway, do not do that tonight. Do not do that tonight. Except for base camp folks, they're going to be here, and Pathfinder folks, all that kind of stuff. You know who you are. You know who you are. But if you're coming here to see our free live event, don't do that. Come to 9999 Westheimer. That's 9999 Westheimer. That's the West Chase Hilton. It's inside the Beltway on the west side of town, so we're between I-10 and 59, right off of Westheimer. Go eastbound towards downtown. If you get to Gessner, turn around, you've gone too far. So it's between the Beltway and Gessner, 9999 Westheimer. Starts at 6 o'clock. Our radio show sponsors will be here. Our vendors will be there. If you want to build your team, we've got foundation people there. We've got hard money lenders there. We've got wholesalers there. We've got construction folks there. We've got inspectors there. We've got appraisers there. I mean, we've got everybody that you need to build your team. You're like, but Tom, I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. Come on in. The water's fine. There is tons and tons of opportunity going on right now. But I don't know what to say to a seller. Then you definitely need to be there tonight, because we're going to be talking about how to talk to sellers after Harvey. That's the point of the meeting. If you want to find out how to talk to sellers after the Harvey storm, it's a slightly different conversation. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Is it what to say? How do you be compassionate and help them solve a problem? How do you listen and talk at the same time? Yeah. You can't really do that, can you? You know you can't. So if you want to find out how to talk to the sellers after Harvey, come to 9999 Westheimer. Before you come to 9999 Westheimer, what you need to do is go to the rightpathrealestate.com website and register for the event. That's rightpathrealestate.com, rightpathrealestate.com. Register for the event. Go to the events tab at the top. And it'll go on there and sign up for today's October 5th. Sign up for the October 5th event. So, and then tomorrow Jason will be back in the studio. He's flying back from LA. He flew out there yesterday morning, was there all last night, and coming back this afternoon. So he should get in, I think, about 7 o'clock this evening. And man, I bet he's exhausted by now. So I see he's watching. Maybe you can type a comment. I hope he's getting some rest. I doubt he is.
30 seconds.
Maybe this weekend. So, and then go Stros. Stros are in the playoffs. But record on your DVR so that you can be at our event tonight, because that's what I'm going to do. Don't tell me. If you see me tonight, do not tell me the Astros score or how the game is going, because I'm going to go back to my house and watch the game in ignorance. So thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day.
All right, Tom. Have a good day.
Thanks. See you. Bye.
Bye.